Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a very special episode of the Pint-Sized Preview. It's a late one tonight, as unfortunately George is ill and he cannot host. And we haven't got a lot of the normal Pint-Sized Preview cast with us today, but we've got two, potentially three debuts to talk about. But there's two with us now. The third may join later on. We'll see. So I'll bring in our wonderful co-hosts one by one. First of all, Harrison, the Wickham Zone. How are you, mate? You doing good?
I'm good. What about yourself?
Yeah, very good. Happy to be here, making your pint-sized preview debut.
I am indeed. I am.
Yeah, love it. Honestly, it's great to finally have you on. And well, we're bringing the first and only regular pint-sized preview member, Aaron. Evening, Aaron. You're right.
Evening, mate. Yeah, all good. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, very good. Enjoying a nice night off before a tough game tomorrow. So hopefully. We can have a celebration tomorrow after tomorrow night.
I'm pretty confident.
Nice victory. I'm feeling confident. And finally, he's become a bit of a celebrity on Wickham Twitter. Aaron told me to say that. But it's
for two
we've
reasons.
got Ollie here with us. How are you doing, Ollie, mate? You all right?
How'd yourself?
Yeah, very good. Your pint-sized preview debut as well. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm privileged to be here anyway, so thanks for inviting me over.
Oh, no worries, honestly. Wouldn't do it with anyone else, obviously. So we'll talk a little bit about the Bolton game on Tuesday night, and then we'll get into the sort of tributes to Adam Ankers and then preview the Oxford game at Adams Park on Saturday, tomorrow. So obviously, we lost out 2-1 to Bolton in the end. They got a late goal that sort of put the game beyond doubt, but we did get that penalty late on with Luke Leahy finally putting his mistakes on the spot to bed and finally scoring another penalty, which has been a real, struggle for us as of late. Harrison, I'll come to you first. What did you make of the overall performance at Bolton? I'm guessing you maybe watched it on stream if you didn't go.
Yeah, I watched it on stream. Do you know what? I must say, we did actually play well against Bolton. I thought we wouldn't because obviously Bolton are a good side and they deserve to go up. But looking at the performance, I think we are playing good. We can tell we're stuck. I don't know what's happened, but we've switched a corner now and we're playing good against top sides as well. Obviously the win against Peterborough as well, which was good. And then to lose 2-1, I think we deserved a draw, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, definitely. I think maybe the performance warranted a draw, especially the amount of chances we had in the first half, didn't we? We had so many good chances to at least score one, if not two. You had that Pops chance early on, and it was disappointing to obviously come away with a defeat. But Aaron, real positive signs so far. Obviously, we've only lost 2 games going into this calendar year. Things aren't exactly as doom and gloom as people make them out to be. But can we take some positives from that performance and maybe build on it on Saturday?
I think so, yeah. If you'd have looked a few months ago, we'd have probably come off a lot worse than that. I think you just said there that we should have scored in that first half. We should have gone in 1-0 up or level. They're a team that we touched on the other day and said that the amount of money they can spend and stuff compared to us is ridiculous. And you'd expect them to go up. You'd expect them to be beating teams like us and kind of aiming for probably the top 2, if not the playoffs. But yeah, I think positives from us, especially after what we've been used to over the last few months. And hopefully, like we said, we seem to have turned a bit of corner. Confidence is kind of flowing through the team and hopefully push on a bit now and climb the table from where we are.
Yeah, definitely. Ollie, I don't know if you went to the game. Did you go or did you watch along on live?
And yeah, I couldn't do it. I was at work, so I couldn't get the day off. So I was like, yeah, I'll watch it on a stream. So.
Oh, right, yeah. I don't think any of us headed up. It's a long bloody way to go on a Tuesday night, isn't it? We've got Charlie here, just to add him in. Welcome, Charlie. How are you doing, mate? You all right?
Evening, not bad. You? How are you lot?
Yeah, very, very good. Looking forward to tomorrow, obviously. Big game.
Yeah, indeed. Hopefully we get the win.
Yeah, I hope so, honestly. It's we seem to have a good record against them, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll continue that. So obviously, with Bolton, it was a good performance. We take a lot of positives from that. Ollie, was there a real standout player for you that you were impressed by during the game, or anything that really stood out in terms of previous weeks?
I wouldn't say it's a standout player. The team played really well together. happened great, yeah. Kind of put us off really in the second half. We wasn't at it. But no, I think they played well as a team. You know, if we got that goal or two, it could have been a different story, you know. But no, it was a good penalty. Look on Saturday and see how it goes, really.
Yeah, definitely. Charlie, you weren't there on Tuesday night, were you?
No, I wasn't there. I did see it online though.
You did see it online.
Yeah.
Obviously, the penalty for Luke Leahy will be a massive confidence booster for him, especially since we've had a few problems with spot kicks recently. What do you think? What do you make of like that for his confidence? Do you feel like that will be a huge confidence boost for him? He's maybe been lacking a little bit from the spot recently.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, there's no doubt what a good player he is, and probably one of our best. I've said before, if you put Leahy and Scowen and Potts in the midfield, it probably becomes one of the best midfielders in the league. So I think Leahy I think he's just been. It shows how good he is as well with his versatility. I think it's really important when you're signing a player to be able to play in various different positions. Look, we've seen that with him this season with the five at the back. He played left centre back, left wing back, and now in midfield, and we've seen him play the 10, I think, recently as well. So I think he's such a versatile player, such an important player to the squad, and it feels like he's been around for ages. He's one of them players that's just sort of infectious around the club, isn't he? And he does all the media stuff with Phil on a Tuesday night and things like that. And that does go a long way for the club in general. So yeah, I think the penalty will be a massive boost for him. Obviously, he's missed a few recently, so he's back on them now. So hopefully, he can sort of keep up a scoring record. I assume he is still top goal scorer for us at the minute.
Yeah, I think so. I think that was his 8th for the season, I believe, on Tuesday night. So
It's
quite
bad,
a ridiculous. It's a ridiculous goal scoring record. Like we're used to it with JJ, really, aren't we? Like left backs scoring a lot of goals, and obviously we've had JJ for the past 10 years banging in penalties and free kicks. So hopefully Luke can somewhat replicate, what JJ's done. Harrison, I'll come to you. Obviously, it was a pretty rotated side, 4 changes for the Chairboys from the 5-2 against Peterborough. What did you make of that? Do you think it's maybe just fitness issues, or there's potentially some injuries to worry about?
Probably fitness issues. I can't see much injuries except from Scowen. He might be back. I'm not sure when he's back, but from what I got told, it was 3 weeks from, if I remember right, and under 21s. So he might be back soon. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see Josh back. Obviously, we're going to have a bit of a selection headache, aren't we, with the midfield we got at the minute? The likes of Leahy, Scowen, Potts, and Butcher all in the mix to stake a claim on the starting 11. So it'd be interesting to see who Blooms goes with. One name who did miss out, and we're not really too sure why, Aaron, was Kane Vincent Young. He came off the back of a really, really strong game, arguably his best in the Wickham shirt, on Saturday against Peterborough. He was seen doing sort of his warm-ups, I believe, somewhat like running or something before the game, as someone said, along with Kadua. Do you think maybe that's a precautionary thing for him, as obviously he's been quite injury prone, or do you think maybe we won't see him as much now?
I would imagine it's a bit of a precaution. Like, he's missed a fair chunk of the season with injuries, and obviously I haven't seen him play kind of back to games for a while. Saturday, Tuesday was probably a bit too much at this point for him. I would imagine he's just rested, and hopefully he'll be back in the squad, if not starting tomorrow. I think the one that's more likely to miss out for a bit is Grimmer. I know we just said it was a knock, but it's Wickham, innit? We all say it's a knock, and then it's like he's on crutches and can't walk for 6 weeks or something. So we'll see with that one.
Yeah, hopefully Jack will be back sooner rather than later, because he's been a massive hit recently under Bloomfield's new system. One name we did actually see on the team sheet for the first time this season, Ollie, was Saxon Early. Obviously, he didn't feature, didn't come off the bench, but that's really encouraging to see him, who was, suffered a long-term injury. It's really encouraging to see him on the bench, and hopefully he'll be able to feature for us soon.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, hopefully featured, hopefully see a bit more of him, be a decent player.
Yeah, I really hope he can be a sort of good rotation option at left back, maybe for Leahy. I think that just about does it for everything at Bolton. I think we covered everything fairly well there. And obviously, before we get into the Oxford game, we want to talk about the lovely tributes from Wickham to rename the stadium in memory of Adam Ankers, who sadly passed away a couple of weeks ago. Charlie, I know you work with the foundation. What was Adam like as a person? Like, what was his sort of? Obviously, I don't know how well you knew him, but what was he sort of like as a person?
Yeah, so obviously I've been covering sort of the under-19 stuff. I was part of the programme for the 2 years before that as well, so I just sort of carried it on. I knew the head coach, so I just thought I'd take over. And coming into this year, Adam was there's 3 teams. He was in the development squad, so he was at a good standard. I think we worked out he played like the most games as well all season. So he was such a good lad. I mean, I was so pretty close because I did take him home a few times because he wasn't driving yet. So I took him home from games sometimes, and like you had so much time for him. Like he was one of them guys that you'd do anything for, and like he'd do the same back. And we spoke about what I was doing with Wickham, and he was really interested because I think he was a season ticket holder at Wickham. So he was really interested about that, and we spoke about it. And it was just such an unfortunate thing, isn't it? And it's come as a shock because it happened on the Wednesday, and obviously the news got broke to the lads, I think, on the Monday after, and I was in that meeting, and it was just pretty shocking. But it's been credit to the club, credit to all the fans, all you guys sort of getting involved and helping out, and sort of helping his parents as well when they put the post out, and everyone really sort of got behind him. It's a credit to the club in general, to be honest. He was such a good lad, and I think he'll be looking down on us on Saturday, and hopefully we can get the win for him, and he can see what we're putting on for him.
Absolutely, yeah. I feel like, honestly, we want to get that win for him most importantly, but have a nice day to sort of remember him. And I feel what the club have done so far is just fantastic. It really shows why we love this football club. They've renamed the whole stadium for him. I think it's a wonderful tribute. And obviously, we've got Harrison in here as well. And we got to give you credit for arranging the clap on the previous home game to Peterborough. That was brilliant and well executed by all 4 stands of the ground. I thought that was a very, very nice tribute. But let's move on then to the game itself, and I'll come to you first, Harrison. Oxford obviously got a very good record against Oxford. They haven't been to Adams Park and scored for about 2 years now. I think it's something like that. Obviously beat them in the playoff final. They haven't really got a result against us for a long, long time. So will you be expecting more of the same, or do you think it's a tougher challenge under different management?
Nah, I think we'll still be expecting a result against Oxford. Obviously, they dropped from, was it automatics to now just inside the playoffs, I'm right in saying. They have dropped off a bit and then picked up again, but I think it'll be a tough test, just like Peterborough was. But I still think we can pick a result against them.
Yeah, you'd hope so, wouldn't you? But obviously, since we last played, a few things have changed. They're now managed by Des Buckingham rather than Liam Manning. Aaron, do you feel a little bit more confident that we're not playing against a Liam Manning team? Because obviously a very, very talented young manager, knows how to set up a team well. Do you feel a lot more confident now we're playing against a team managed by Buckingham, who's maybe been a little bit hit and miss in results recently?
Yeah, possibly. I think not only obviously their managers changed since kind of to be fair, when we played and we were doing all right, but then kind of after that, our form kind of dipped and we went through that run. I think a bit of both. Like our confidence is back up. They've changed manager, and like you said, it's kind of a bit hit and miss. Think it's probably the ideal time to play them now. I mean, they've got a good squad, and they'll be. I think they'll probably end up in and around the playoffs in the season, and obviously we're kind of looking at mid-table, 10th or just below to finish. But good time to play them possibly compared to a few months ago, and if we're going to get a result, it's going to be now with how we're playing, I think.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with you. Obviously, the reverse fixture was a fairly interesting game, a 2-2 with 3 penalties. Ollie, hopefully a little bit more carnage in the game, but in our favour. But yeah, obviously with Leahy scoring a penalty in the most recent game, he could be a real influence coming into this one, do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's going to be a tough game, a tougher game than we think. They're a good side. They've won a lot of games. But I think we can I don't know. I reckon we'll get a draw. Don't know enough for a win, but I think Leahy, he's definitely, do you know what I mean, part of our squad. I think in the reverse fixture, getting 2 pens, it was a good draw. But obviously, the ref being on that other game was a little bit dodgy, on both sides. But yeah, hopefully we get a result this weekend. But yeah.
Oh,
It lagged off.
well, here we go.
Okay.
Oh,
Jaden's dodgy West Country internet again.
Yeah, sorry, my internet just dropped out completely there. Fucking hell, honestly, dreadful stuff. But
do you want me to repeat it or?
You can if you want.
No, I was just saying it was going to, a tough game this weekend. Obviously in the reverse fixture, getting a point. Obviously, Leahy's penalties, but I think he's going to obviously be a good role in this Saturday. It's going to be a tough game, but I think we'll get a point. But anyway,
yeah, point sort of point minimum you'd be happy with.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Not again.
Mate, some BT engineer is going to absolutely get it. Honestly, I've fucking had enough of this. Every week. Anyway, where were we? So, fucking hell, I completely lost my train of thought. It'll come to me in a minute. We were talking about Oxford, right? Yeah. So Charlie, obviously, a big 5-2 win against Peterborough at the weekend. Hopefully, more of the same. Obviously, it sort of installs that. I think we're looking for a big win against a side that's pushing for promotion, and with Oxford coming in sort of in the similar boat to Peterborough, I guess we sort of had that no fear attitude now around the ground that we could possibly just beat anyone on our day, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tough game. Look, Oxford have got so much individual quality, haven't they, across the pitch? And we've seen like Tyler Goodrow, Cameron Brannigan, like they're all top players in League One. So I think just as a collective, they just haven't clicked yet. I think they've got the individuals to do it. I think it just needs time to gel, and I think they'll be right up there like they are now. So it'll be a difficult game. But like you said, we've scored 12 goals in our last 3 games. So there's no reason why we can't go out. And I've sort of wanted that mentality for a while with Wycombe, where we I don't mind conceding goals, but I just want us to try and outscore the opposition. That's sort of the mentality I want to see us sort of adopt. And I think we've been doing that the last few weeks. Like we saw the Brighton game, after we get 1, we go for 2, we go for 3. I think that's the sort of mentality we need to see now. Whereas I think that was the key difference last game against Peterborough. I think we saw Bloomfield, he sort of, usually when we were 3-2 up, he'd go to a back 5, wouldn't he, and put Grimmer or someone and go to a back 5 rather than sticking on the Barla and players and Vokes. And then that was sort of the key difference in that game, where he brought on attackers rather than defenders, and then we get the result. So I think it's only the same again, really. Just go out with some attacking intent and really just take the game to Oxford. We're at home. We're going to have the fans behind us. Look, the atmosphere sort of picked up in these last few weeks because the results have been coming and performances are getting there now. So I think there's no reason why we can't go out and give them a really tough game and beat them at home, really, to be honest.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, my internet dropped out there again, for goodness sake. But obviously, this has been a total disaster with the internet. But we'll try and work around it. Harrison, I'll come to you again because we've seen obviously Jason McCarthy back recently from a fairly long-term injury. He played a fair amount of minutes on Tuesday night. Is that encouraging for you to see more of our depth players come back and we can possibly make changes when we've got a pretty congested schedule coming up?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, Jason McCarthy, he's a good player, and I think he's been a miss for Wycombe. But yeah, it's very good to see him back.
Yeah, can be a very, very important player for us when he's in form. But Aaron as well, do you expect many changes from Tuesday night? Obviously, there were a few rested. Maybe, like you've already said, Grimmer could be a potentially long-term, not long-term, but fairly, 2-3 weeks sort of thing. But yeah, do you expect many changes going into the game from the defeat to Bolton, or sort of keep it similar, because we played fairly well then?
1 or 2 maybe. I can imagine. I guess depending on like if Grimmer's out, then potentially I can't see McCarthy starting a second game in a row and he's just come out from injury. Probably Vincent. I would hope Vincent Young comes back in because I think we probably saw the best of him last weekend against Peterborough, and hopefully if he can continue that, I think possibly Vokes starting. He hasn't started the last couple of games, and whether that's fitness or just being rotated and rested, but I would imagine it's the kind of game for him to come back into. Potentially 1 or 2 others, maybe see someone like Early or Nigel Longwick or someone like that maybe come in at the back and rest a couple of players. But yeah, I think it'll be pretty much the same, 1 or 2 changes.
Yeah. Sorry. Ollie, obviously a person who hasn't been playing much recently, but we have signed, one Wickham fans may have sort of forgotten about a little bit, is Gideon Kadua. We really don't know why he hasn't been involved much with Wickham recently. Obviously, we've seen their training on Tuesday night at Bolton. But do you think he could sort of come back into the squad at some point, or to potentially earn a place? Because we haven't seen much of him. We know he's a fairly decent player from what he did against us in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. But would you like to see him in the squad to sort of like stake a claim on the place in the team?
Yeah, for sure. I'm not so sure why he's not kind of like been in that squad or even on the bench, just even coming on as a super sub really or something like that. But yeah, unless he's not good enough for Matt's liking. But I think he's got a lot of potential, and I think even if he's on the bench and just comes on for a bit, you know what I mean? I think he can make a big impact.
Yeah, he's a very sort of quick player, direct player, and he can definitely make an impact. Sort of similar player to Labala, I think, maybe. Can play up front, bit of a winger as well. Finally, Charlie, Matt Butcher, been a bit of a revelation since he's come in the midfield alongside Freddie Potts. He looks sort of like a very similar player to Josh Scowen. Just how effective do you think that midfield partnership has been so far?
Yeah, I think having Butch come in was a massive benefit to us in January. Look, we've seen the quality he had where he was at with Plymouth, and look, he's excellent. He's one of them players that goes unnoticed because look, he does all the dirty work, he does all the simple things right, but in the meantime, it allows Freddie Potts to get on the ball and get forward more and have that license to do that. Where I think when Pottsy was in there with Wheeler, it was a bit different because sort of David Wheeler's more of an attack-minded player than Freddie sort of had to sort of cover the defensive midfield role. So it's really allowed sort of Freddie to get forward now and bring the ball and sort of carry the ball forwards. And I think that's maybe why we've seen turning results as well, because look, Freddie's so influential in this team, and if you have someone like Matt Butcher behind him, sort of supporting him and you can trust him to go forward, then yeah, it's an excellent addition for us. And we've seen the quality he's been having over recent seasons in League One with Accrington and people like and teams like that. So yeah, it's a massive addition for us, and I think it was definitely probably one of our most important ones of the whole season. Obviously, with Scowen being out at the minute, it's almost like we haven't missed him, but it'll be great to get Joshy back as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The most important part, really, of the pint size preview every week is a score prediction. So I'll come around all of you now and get your score predictions. Start with you, Harrison. Let's hear what you think.
2-1 Wickham.
Any goal scorers?
Oh God, Vokes and Butcher.
Vokes and Butcher. Aaron, what are you thinking, mate?
I'm going to go for 2-0, and I've got to go with McCleary. McCleary seems to love a goal against his old boyhood team, and yeah, I'll go 2-0 Wickham.
Both McCleary goals, do you reckon?
McCleary and Labala.
Labala, nice, good shout. Ollie, what you thinking?
Realistically, a draw, but I think 3-2 Wickham, and Richard Kone is going to score 20th minute.
Love the optimism. Finally, Charlie, what are you saying? What do you think the score will be?
I want to say 2-1 Wickham. I think it could be 2-2. I think there'll be goals in it, and I think hopefully GMAC will score. And like you said, I think Freddie Potts might nick him with one as well. I think he's been deserving of one the whole season. Well, he's got one, I think, or two. So hopefully he adds another to the tally.
very, very positive panel here tonight. I'm going to go with a 2-0 Wickham because we never really concede to them, do we? I'd love to see a Richard Kone brace as well, but maybe not. Maybe won't happen, but we can all dream, can't we? I think this is a good time to wrap it up. A bit of a shorter one tonight. Obviously, we don't want to be on too late and before my internet blows up again. So we'll definitely need to get that looked at. But all of you, thank you very, very much for joining me. Obviously, Wickham Twitter has come in and saved us here. We didn't have one last night, but managed to put on one tonight. So thank you to Harrison, Ollie, Charlie, and of course Aaron for joining me late tonight. You absolute legends, honestly. Enjoy the game. Anyone going? Hopefully see you all there. And we can hope for 3 points and have a good game to review on Saturday. Cheers for watching and see you tomorrow.